Hey y'all, it's Pam with 44 Marketplace and Creative Finishes by Pam. And tonight we are going to give this piece right behind me some personality. I have laid up here what we're going to be using. We won't get it all used tonight. This is going to be a process this week. But I thought I would give you some background. This piece was given to me by a very nice friend. And it's what? Not really, it doesn't say Pam. So I have a pop-up shop event for a local charity coming up in February. Hey Gary, hey Donna, and I am supposed to use a table, but hey Patsy, hey Deb, hey Dar. And I've asked for special permission not to use a 6-foot table. Hey Amanda, glad you got in my class in boot camp on June. I'm excited. So I got special permission not to use a 6-foot boring skirted table. Because of what I do, they're going to allow me to use this piece, which fits in my 6-foot footprint. And so what we're going to do is we are going to make this look like Pam, because it just has a natural top and it's white. Hey Sandy, I'm not a neutral girl at all. If I had my way, I would probably have color in almost everything. And I know a lot of people like white, and I'm not knocking white, don't get me wrong. It's just not my bag of tricks. So I'm going to kind of give you guys an idea. When I have a piece of furniture like this one's rustic. I don't know if you guys can see the indentations and everything. It is a fabulous piece of furniture. Let me see. It's got great wood on the inside. Let's see, this door. It has beautiful wood on the inside. So this is not one of those pieces that I would recommend putting any wallpaper on the sides of the drawers or decoupaging anything. Now, you're welcome to do whatever you want with your piece, but this piece is too rustic for that. I don't really think it needs that. It needs a nice finish, a nice rustic finish, but it really doesn't say, give me wallpaper and decoupage to me. And I have a finish in my brain. Thus, I've got these products up here that we're going to go over, and this sounds crazy, this sounds like a crazy person, but it depends on what the piece says to me when we get started as to whether or not, hey Sandra, as to whether or not that finish is going to be what we do, because a lot of times I have a finish in mind and the piece tells me it wants something different. So we are going to start tonight probably with the top, and we may do some base coating, but I just have to wait and see what it says, and I know that sounds like a crazy person, but it depends on what the piece says to me. And I had a friend send me some different kind of top coat, and you guys know I'm a Dixie Belle girl, but we are going to use a different top coat on the top, I think, because a friend was so kind to send me 8 ounces of a top coat that she sells, and this is my piece, so I can do with it what I want, and we're just going to go with it. So I'm thinking on the top, I am going to use Voodoo Black Magic and Voodoo Up in Smoke. Both of these are water-based gel stains, and we are going to layer those on the top because the top is fabulous, except for the fact it's just natural, and that's just so not me. And then on the body of the piece, we are going to use Savannah Mist, Stormy Seas, Coffee Bean, Fluff, and we'll probably use black gilding wax. We will probably use gray wax. We will probably use black wax. There's no telling. You guys that have watched me know it just kind of brings on a life of its own. I do have several brushes, and yes, I do know that I'm kind of a brush crazy person, but I do love my Dixie Belle Oval for my base coating, but when it comes to my blending and stuff, I love my Paint Pixie. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Paint Pixie brushes for blending. And my initial thought was I was going to do an ombre finish, dark to light, and kind of bring out some of the white. But because of the shape of the piece, I don't think a linear ombre is what I want anymore. So we're going to start with the finish and we're going to see where we end up, because that's the best thing. And I always keep a sanding sponge around because sometimes I like to sand back through what I've done and do something else. So we are going to get started. I'm going to raise you guys up so you can see, and we have scrubby soap for cleaning up everything else. All right, now if you guys have questions about the products that I'm using, please let me know. If I don't get it answered in the live, since I'm doing it by myself, it's sometimes hard to do. I'll be sure and answer it once I get back home. So I'm going to lift you guys up so you can see my top that we're doing. You don't want to be that close to me. That's too scary. All right. So this is our beautiful top that we are doing. And you can see it's got great wood to it, but it is blah, you know. So we don't want blah. I'm going to see if you guys I can get you up high enough. Is that too high? I think it is. Let's see. Be patient. Sorry, I couldn't do this ahead of time and you guys get to see the whole piece. All right, that's right in there. It looks about right. Let's see if I can do it this way. All right, so now you guys can kind of see what we're doing. All right, this is our wooden top, and I don't know how many of you guys ever use Voodoo gel stain, but it's a water-based gel stain, and I apply it different ways depending on what I'm doing. We're going to use Black Magic and Up in Smoke. Because I want the top to be darker than light, I'm probably going to layer the black on first and then go back in with the gray. So when I do it, I like to kind of start on the end so you won't be able to see as much. But I like to put it on and just kind of brush it in so that it kind of soaks in a little, and then I wipe it back. So I'm going to do a little bit, and then I'll bring the camera up here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I just kind of squirt it. It's in a little squirt bottle. And you can use, a lot of people will use a sponge brush for this. You can wipe it in. It just depends on what look you're going for. And I know what I'm going for. And the brush kind of gives me more of what I want, because this piece is going to have a rustic feel to it when I'm done. So I don't want it to have too even a tone, because then it's not going to be as rustic as what I'm looking for. And you guys will see what I'm talking about in just a minute. If you let it sit too long, it'll leave circles on your piece. If you drew circles or whatever, it'll leave the outline of where you put it. So if you can just wipe through it a little, it definitely gets it started going in the direction you want. And keep in mind, when you're using natural wood like this, it is going to take it different ways. So it may not be as uniform as you like if that's what you're looking for. You may have to layer more than one layer to get a uniform look. I don't care about uniform. Those of you who know me know that that's as far from me as it can be. So I'm going to show you what this looks like a little bit here, so you can kind of get an idea. All right, we've brushed that in a little bit, and I'm going to show you where we are. Okay, so can you guys see what that looks like as opposed to this? That's what we're going for on this piece. And I wish that the legs would allow it to lean for you guys, but I don't think it will. We'll see. Is that better? Can you guys see a little bit more of what I'm doing? Of course, without my glasses, I can't see. All right, so there we are. Now you guys can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. And we're going to layer a little bit more black on here. And like I say, you can use a sponge brush. You can use whatever you want. You can add water if you want it to be more liquidy. Don't you like that word? And I'm going to wipe it back and see how it's doing down here. The longer you leave it, the darker it'll be. But it is doing exactly what I want it to do. If you wipe with the grain of the wood, you'll probably be happier with the layering. And I'm probably going to layer more than just one layer on this. And if you do the staining first, then you don't have to worry about if you happen to get some stain on the part that you're going to paint. It just makes it go a lot better. And if you work the big pieces first, it makes it a lot easier for you to do. So keep that in mind. I don't know if you guys have ever used the Voodoo gel stain, but it's almost translucent, but it has great pigment. I mean, it gives you wonderful color, especially if you're using it on bare wood. A lot of times I don't use it on bare wood. I use it as a glaze. You know, we've done it in some of the lives. So that's always a good thing to do as well. Got to make sure we get this front, and I can't see it from back there, so sorry I'm blocking your view for a minute. Okay. So we're going to add a little bit more here, and we're going to let it sit like we did that on that front, just a little. And then we'll wipe it back like we did the other, and that way you can see what it looks like. And I can tell you, part of this is not going to be dark enough. I am going to darken it a little bit more. And keep in mind, if it's not dark enough, just keep layering it. It works really, really, really well. And each board on this, if you were looking at it closer, you can see that each board takes it a little differently. And you would know where you're going to need to layer it. I'm going to move you guys down so you can see what I'm working on, okay? All right. That way you guys get to be part of the process. But we got to have something that says Pam if we're going to do a pop-up shop. We want something that signifies 44 Marketplace. We're going to have parts and pieces from all of the vendors in the store in the pop-up shop. But, you know, a 6-foot draped table is really a little boring and tame for me. I like something a little bit more energetic, a little bit more out of the box. And you can see that you can be as precise or imprecise as you want. I think precision is way overrated. So I don't usually go for precision. Because this piece is, it has a lot of nicks and bruises, which I am in love with. And you know, when somebody will give you a piece like this, you just want to hug them and thank them, and that's exactly what I did. She was so sweet. She was replacing it in her bedroom as her TV stand, and she gave it to me, and I thought, ooh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. But a lot of people don't have a vision to make it. So let's see. Hey, Julie. Hey, Terry. Hey, Billy. All right. Hey, Robin. Your order went out. Just so you know, sorry it took a couple of days, but sometimes that's how it is this time of year. If you guys need any last minute supplies for Christmas, let me know. You know, I ship free over 50 bucks. Okay, we're getting this done. I know this is tedious and boring, but sometimes that's what you have to do, is put up with tedious and boring. That way you guys will get to see what it looks like, though, once we get there. Does anybody have questions? If you've got little divots and stuff, you want to make sure that you get it in there, but you don't want it to pool in there, because if you do, then it won't dry like the rest of it, okay? Also, keep in mind, we only have one spot left for boot camp in June. And we have 5 spots left for September. And if you're interested in the May boot camp in New Mexico, please send me a message, because it looks like it is going to be over the weekend of May the 17th. And it's going to be May 17th, 18th, and 19th. And it is going to be 3 full days of painting and playing with paint and having lots of fun and learning a lot about Dixie Belle products. And who knows, I may bring this new product with me if it works out as well as it seems like it's going to. I already did a test with it. So we may have all Dixie Belle products or we may not. I usually use pretty much primarily Dixie Belle products, but if we find something that we like, we may try it at boot camp as well. All right, so we're going to let that sit just a minute. And now you guys can see the difference. I'm going to show you the difference where they come together. You can see one side has been wiped back and one side hasn't. So I'm going to show you, we're going to wipe it back just a little to see how it's doing. And that just wipes back the excess. Now I like to wipe with the grain of the wood, but you don't have to. You can wipe back whichever way you prefer. All right. We need a little bit more over here on this edge. I'll spin you guys around so you can see what we got going on. If anybody has questions, please feel free to ask them. Like I say, anything that I don't get to, I will get to when I get back to the house. All right. Okay, there we go. Look how messy this bottle is now. All right, so now we have gotten this nice and kind of dark, but it's probably not as dark as I'm going to want it. But we're going to put a little bit of our gray in, okay? I want Up in Smoke, and I think I left it over here. So now that we've got it nice and dark, it's still not black enough for me, but I do want to layer a little bit of the gray. The gray is called Up in Smoke, and it is a very nice gray color. So we are going to put it down just to kind of give our piece a little bit of personality, because I know I am going to put some more black over it. I don't mind if it gets heavy in a couple places because I'm still going to put some black back over it. Now, I like to apply it with a chip brush, except for when they shed, which mine do every once in a while. But you want to do this to kind of give it a little bit of a variation. I mean, most of the time things that are black are not just black. I mean, they have a little bit of a natural, organic feel to them. So we're going to add some gray in here to give it a little bit of a nice feel. All right. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like, the part that doesn't have gray with the part that does have gray. Sorry. Have to excuse me. Sometimes we lose a little bristle here and there, and I've got the same bristle wandering around all over this piece. All right, now I'm going to show you the difference in the two in just 1 second. I know this is boring, but this is part of doing the piece. All right, so now I have put, there is the part that has the gray on it, and there is the part that doesn't. So you can see it makes a vast difference if you opt to add the gray in, and you can wipe it back, which the edge is a little grayer than I want, so I'm going to wipe it back a little. But the longer you let it sit, the more color it will take. And I don't want it as much gray as I want it black, but like I say, I am going to be layering some more black on the top of this, so I don't care if it looks a little gray right now, because it needs to be a little darker than it is. But I do love the wood grain showing through. So a lot of people would say, why don't you just paint it if you want it darker? But I don't want to obliterate the wood grain, because the wood grain is what I really like for this piece, because it is a rustic piece. So this way I have the best of both worlds. I can add color to this piece without actually obliterating the wood grain. Sorry, I can't talk and paint at the same time. You know how that goes, right? Some of you guys may be blessed with that talent, but not this girl. No. And my comments have disappeared, so if you're saying something, I'm sorry. They do that from time to time. Don't know why. And if you guys have texted me in the last couple of days, I apologize for not responding, but if you were looking, I had to do a wipe of my phone yesterday. So I lost a lot of things. I do have Google backup, but some things did not go as well as I would like for them to have. So if you've texted me and you need something custom painted, I am working on my 2019 calendar, and I'm already about 45 to 60 days out, so if you've got something you need painted, you might want to hit me up in the next week or two so that you can get on the calendar. Otherwise, just be patient because everybody else is waiting their turn, so you'll have to wait yours, okay? I love doing your work, but I have to do everybody in the order in which they sign up. Okay, we're going to wipe this back. Oh, yeah, that's so much better. So much better already. See, this is more me than just a natural, boring top. We need a little bit more of that gray, though. Now, you guys may choose to do a different finish, but I'll tell you, don't underestimate the power of this stuff. I mean, this stuff is the bomb diggity without a doubt. This stuff does great as a gel stain. It's beautiful all on its own. But besides that, it is great as just a glaze or a wash or something like that. I mean, it is amazeballs. Oh yeah, that's much better. And layering it is the way to do it, in my opinion. You can put a whole bunch of one color on there and let it be there, but it's so much better to me if you layer it. Just be mindful when you're wiping it back that you wipe it back kind of evenly, because otherwise it can sometimes look a little splotchy if you don't wipe it nicely. All right, so now we're going to let you see what it looks like now. So you guys can see that we've got some grays in there and everything, but I do think we need a little bit more on this front edge. It's hard for me to see it with being behind it. All right, and we're probably going to let that dry. We may do a little bit more tomorrow, but we're probably going to let this dry because I want to go ahead and get started on our base color. Now, you know the piece is already cleaned. I didn't go over that, but I've already cleaned it with Dixie Belle White Lightning. So the piece is ready to be painted, or we wouldn't be painting it. I guess actually we're not painting it, we're staining it. So this way you guys can see what we've done so far. And we have already darkened that top up. Now you can see how much better that looks. I think there's a spot over there I missed though. Let me get that or it'll make me crazy. See, I wish these things were interactive so you guys could say, hey Pam, you crazy person, you missed a spot over here. It would be great. So we're going to let that sit just a minute, and then we've got to put some gray over it. And then we're going to go to painting. Yay! All right, so now we've got to put some gray over it so it's more copacetic with everything else. And then we're going to start painting. You guys know that one of my favorite colors is Dixie Belle Stormy Seas. So we are going to be using Dixie Belle Stormy Seas. That's not the only one that we're going to be using, but that is one of the colors. And like I said, I don't want the piece to be an ombre linear. So we are going to do a blended piece and go from there. All right, so I'm going to drop you guys down. Hope I'm not making anybody kind of queasy moving this thing around. But we're going to drop you down just a little. All right. Now if we can get it to stay there, maybe you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. All right, we're going to start with kind of in the middle. Okay. So I've got the actual jars of Dixie Belle paint, but you know me. I have bottles that are open. And we're going to start with our Savannah Mist. So we are going to use Savannah Mist to kind of give this the start that I want. And of course, this is one that I've used in class, so it hasn't been opened in a while, because not everybody likes Savannah Mist. I think it is a fabulous color. Now you guys, if you've watched me before with my blends, you know I kind of like to have a base coat. And typically with my base coats, I just want to have something to kind of cover up a little bit of what I've got going on for the main thing. So we're going to base coat this piece in Savannah Mist because I think a big part of this piece may end up being Savannah Mist, but I'm not really sure. So we're going to start with Savannah Mist, and we're going to pray that this is the right thing. Sorry, I'm not used to sitting on the floor with my shoes on. Okay, so when you're base coating, you just want to get a little coat of paint on your piece. You don't have to cover every single inch because you're going to go back in and do a blend. So if you don't get the underside edge of this and stuff, you're not going to get the edges of your doors when you open them. You're not going to get all of that, but it's okay because all you're trying to do is get a little bit of a base coat. Now, I know some of the others that when they do blends, they just blend right onto their piece, and that is perfectly fine. I'm not saying that this is how you have to do it. I'm saying this is how I do it. So you guys can do it whatever way works best for you, but this is how I like to do it. And typically, I take my doors and everything off when I paint, unless I'm doing a blend. If you're doing a blend, it's super hard to do your blend with your doors off because it's hard to make sure everything goes the direction that you want it to and begins and ends where it's supposed to. So it's much easier if you do a blend, if you leave the hinges and everything in place. This piece used to be black, and somebody had kind of semi-painted it white. And so every once in a while you'll see some little black edges, which I'm not opposed to. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm not really opposed to some of the black showing here and there because it's a rustic looking piece. So if a little bit of black shows here and there, great. I'm going to put coffee bean on it anyway, right? And black gilding wax. So we're going to get this on here. And like I say, you're not trying to cover every single inch of this. You're just trying to get a little bit on here so you can do your blend or whatever it is you want to do. And if you're going to heavily distress a piece, the more paint you put on, the more paint you have to turn around and take back off when you're distressing. So be mindful of that. Several people ask me about my mister bottle. I don't paint without a mister bottle. Ever, never, ever, ever, ever. I have to have a mister bottle to paint. My daughters laugh and say that it's because I just need it for security. Maybe that's it. I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you I have to have a mister bottle to paint. And then when you hear it, you know it's about every second or third stroke, I have to mist my piece. If you'll notice on this right in here, I don't know if you can see, but still some little white shows through because of the nicks and dings in the door. That's great because that's going to add to my finish that I'm going to do as a final finish as it stands right now, unless she says she wants to be dressed differently. But, you know, she's going to a party, a fashion show, as a pop-up shop, so she'll probably have something to say about what she's going to wear. So that's what we've got to be mindful of. If you guys, why don't you guys tell me what your favorite Dixie Belle color is? I told you that mine is probably Stormy Seas, and the funny thing about that is I'm not even a blue person or a gray person, and yet I love Stormy Seas. And the funny thing about that is I ended up with a gallon of Stormy Seas that I didn't order. Dixie Belle sent me the wrong thing one day by accident. And I thought, what am I going to do with this? Let me tell you, I put that stuff on everything. Everything. You know that commercial? That's me with Stormy Seas. I just love it. Okay, so I don't want to bore you guys to death, but basically you can see what we're trying to do. All we're trying to do is get a semi-base coat on this piece because with all of these fabulous nicks and dings and knocks and bruises and everything, this piece has so much to highlight. It's unbelievable. I mean, I can't tell you. When she asked me if I wanted this piece, I couldn't tell her yes fast enough. It is amazeballs how great this piece is. Now, a lot of people don't see it for what it is. I mean, they would see it as, you know, an old piece of furniture that they had hanging around. But to me, this is, it's fabulous. I can't even tell you how fabulous I think it is. And for our pop-up shop, it's going to be even more amazing because it's going to have more personality, more color, more texture. I haven't ruled out putting a little something on the front here, maybe a stencil or something. You know, I love that French writing stencil. It's pretty amazeballs. So don't be surprised if a few French words get put on here and there, because it would be super awesome to have some French words on here. I am not sure what's going to happen, but I do want you guys to see what we started with and then what direction we're headed, because I don't want to bore you guys to death, but we may put a little bit more of the Voodoo gel stain on the top tomorrow, because when you put the Voodoo gel stain on there and you let it dry, sometimes it darkens up on you a little and it gives you what you want. But I'm that person that, it's probably going to get some more because I want to make sure it's a nice, rich, dark look. And then I may even sand it a little. So there's that. If you guys have questions, please let me know, because this is, I don't know if you can tell from my voice, this is what I really love to do better than just about anything except eating. I love to eat. And this is really going to be beautiful. I think we're going to have a little bit of the stormy seas down here, and we're definitely going to have stormy seas in here, and maybe even some close to the top, so that rather than having a linear ombre, we're going to have kind of a blend, but we are going to have, I do want to keep some of the white, even though I'm painting over every bit of it. I do want to keep some of the white, so I've got my Dixie Belle fluff right here, and yes, I do have to put them in plastic containers because I buy them by the gallon usually. I use so much paint. So hopefully by tomorrow we'll have a base coat on this, and you guys won't have to sit here and listen to me babble to myself and watch me put this on. But that way you can see how we started with kind of a yucky white, and now we're going to Savannah Mist. But we are going to put some Stormy Seas on there tomorrow night. Definitely some fluff, because we're going to need that. And of course we'll put some more of the Savannah Mist. Don't rule out Vintage Duck Egg, because I got to tell you, that's another one of those things that when I'm putting these colors in, it may need a little bit of Vintage Duck Egg just because. And you know me, if I'm doing a piece, odds are coffee beans going to be right in the middle of everything going on. Keep in mind, we do have one spot left in the boot camp, and in boot camp, we're going to do something similar to this. 8 hours a day for 3 days, except for one afternoon, we are going to be spraying. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a paint pixie brush for our blending. So if you guys don't have a paint pixie brush, let me know. I would love to sell you one. They are the bomb diggity. And if you'll notice, I am using Dixie Belle synthetic brushes because they do great. Look at that. I have used the heck out of this brush, and it washes up and does up so well. I use scrubby soap for my washing up, but it's amazeballs. So if those of you guys who want to stay around, I'll chat with you. Those of you guys who want to knock off, go ahead and knock it off. And y'all have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow night. But I am going to leave the line open for those who want to ask questions, and I'm going to see if I can get my comments back. Let's see, come on. Okay, it looks like, there we go. Well, Terry, I wish you did too, because if you live closer, you can sign up, but I've got people flying in from as far away as New Mexico for these boot camps. I got a lady flying in the end of the month, January the 27th, to paint with me for the day. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm going to switch to the other side. All right. So if you guys don't have a mister bottle, I don't know how you paint. If you do paint without a mister bottle, explain it to me. Because I got to tell you, I can't imagine painting without a mixture bottle. I would probably have a breakdown or something. I have to have it. So I got to ask you guys, 2019 is headed this way, and I just got me the greatest planner ever. I just got me a happy planner. If you have a happy planner, I want to know what you think of it. Because I got to tell you, the last couple of weeks, I have really loved the heck out of mine. And I am going to be semi-organized for 2019, which is something I can almost never say. See, don't you love that with the white showing through? It is the bomb, I gotta tell you. It's just, I love it. I love it with the white and the black showing through and the chippiness of it and some of the doors still white. And it's got all these nicks and dings. You just, makes my heart beat fast. Doesn't take much for me. Just a great piece of furniture and some paint, and I can have a whole day of it. That and a glass of tea. That's the only thing I didn't bring tonight. I don't have a glass of tea. I love me a good glass of tea while I'm painting. And it's hotter than you know what in here, I gotta tell you. I don't know what they've got the heat set on, but it's not set to Pam, I can tell you. We keep our house about 66 degrees because I run hot all the time. And my Mastiffs prefer cool over hot, so. Are you guys finished with all of your Christmas shopping? Oh, thank you. You know, I'm thinking that this may end up with a little bit more white on it than I thought it was going to originally. The more I'm brushing over this, the more I'm thinking, you know what? It's going to have a little bit more white in here. I should have left a little bit more showing. But that's me. That's usually how I do things. I do them the hardest way possible. That is my goal just about every single day. I have to do something like 6 times to get it the way I want it. And this one, I think it's probably going to need some more white on it. How funny is that? I just painted over all the flipping white. Painted over all the flipping white so that I can put more white on it. Yes. I do have experience with vinyl stencils. Vinyl stencils are pretty easy to use, but they're a single use. That's the thing. I know people who use them more than once, but this girl can't. Because once I use them, I usually tear them up getting them off. So, yeah, this piece is going to get a little white put back on it, I can tell you. It needs some white. It needs some dark. You know me, I like to have highlights and lowlights. And those of you who are sticking around, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't liked my page, I would appreciate a like. If you haven't visited my store and you're close by, I would love that even more. My vendors would greatly appreciate it. We have 28 vendors in the store, and we love for you to shop local, I gotta tell you. We definitely love for you to shop local. Oh, yeah. Definitely going to get some more white in that. If you guys are out and about this weekend, we are going to be serving some refreshments for the holiday, so you need to stop into the shop because we're going to try to make it easier. And you guys know we put everything in gift bags for you, so that makes it easier on you when you get home. You don't have to wrap anything. All right. So let me hear it. What are some of your favorite Dixie Belle colors? Oh, yeah. This is going to get a bunch of white and coffee bean besides our little stuff we're going to be doing because it needs it something awful. I don't know why it didn't say that before I painted all over the white. She's a woman. She's very indecisive. I don't know why that is either. All right, so that is that side. And so far, I gotta tell you, I'm liking it. I'm liking it, liking it, liking it. Collard greens. Oh my God, I love collard greens too. Hey, Mandy, I wondered where you were, girl. Don't tell me you've been working 12 hours a day again. All right, so we're going to finish up this end, and then thanks for sticking around, guys. I appreciate it. If you guys get a chance, comment on a couple of things on my page. Facebook keeps changing it up and making it so my posts go nowhere. 80 people see a post, and you know, you've got 10,000 people that like your page and 80 people see a post. That's just craziness. They just want you to pay so everybody can see it. It's what it is. All right. Be sure if you like my videos to share them because that helps me with my organic spread as well. All right. Look at that. Who left that mess up there? Craziness. Leave a big old glob of paint and walk away from it. Swear. Sometimes you wonder how I get back and forth to work every day. Right? Oh, I want you to know somebody sent me the sweetest message on YouTube the other day. They like my accent. I thought, oh, have mercy, what is wrong with them? I can't stand to listen to myself recorded. When I edit my videos, I do it with the sound off because I can't stand to hear my own voice. How sad is that? Can't stand it at all. All right, there we are. The girl has on some color. She is looking some kind of beautiful. Now, at least I can see the direction that maybe we're going to go. I don't know. So we are going to take a minute and do my edge because I thought I could not do it tonight, but it's going to drive me a little bonkers if I don't do it, I think. And yes, I'm using the Paint Pixie brush to do that because it's just so much easier. And I'm going to keep on until I get it on my stain, and then I'll be mad at myself. Do you guys ever do that? Do you keep messing with things until you manage to mess up something else and you're like, dang it, I should have stopped 5 minutes ago. Yeah, that's me. Over and over, and I tell myself, I'm not going to do it this time. And yes, I keep on and on and on until, once again, I have messed something up that I'm going to have to go back and fix like a crazy person. Just like right there. All right. We're going to go back to this side. And you guys got to kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. I just want to kind of, first of all, give it some color. But second of all, get an idea of what direction I'm going with this piece. Because, like I say, sometimes I keep that direction, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get started like this one. I painted over most of the white. Now I'm thinking I may add some more white back in there because I really like what the white does for this color. And I think once I start getting my dark on there, I like it even more. But I do think I'm still going to be doing some of the black on the top. I do think I want the top just a little darker, but I'm not going to mess with it. That's what I keep telling myself. I'm not going to mess with it tonight because I do want to wait and see how it darkens up overnight. So this is what we've gotten so far tonight. We've got our Savannah Mist on there, and we've kind of stained our top. We may put another coat of black and gray on there tomorrow. I don't know. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the Dixie Belle Paint page, because Sandy is going to be on there. And I want you guys to watch my girl Sandy. She's going to be on at 8, and then I'll be back on here probably at 8:30. And we're going to do some more work on this. And tomorrow night, you'll actually get to see a little bit more of what we've got going on. And if you guys have questions, please put them on this post, because when I'm climbing around, I can't read it. I can't see what it is. And plus, I got to have my glasses. But we're definitely going to be putting some more white in this. But I'm also going to have the dark. And I definitely want, you know, my Stormy Seas. Stormy Seas is going to be amazeballs. But I do think I need more of a darkness on my top. So if you guys have questions, hit me up. If not, no, I do not sand between coats. Typically, I don't have a need to. I keep my brush damp, and it's nice and smooth. Can you sand between coats? Absolutely. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore you guys, and I will see you tomorrow night, and we're going to do some more work on this. Hopefully, you'll be able to see the colors better, because it looks a little washed out in the picture that I can see. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great evening.